Journey of Self-Discovery, Day 6, Practical Application of Bhagavad Gita in Daily Life, 22nd August. Right, so we start with a quick recap because we are on Day 6 of the Journey of Self-Discovery, finally last day. So, what is there in revision? It begins from day 1. In day 1, we decided that all of us are searching for happiness. That comes in connection with God. In day 2, we get to know how we are connected and how we are connected with God. In fact, how does God even exist? Is He there? Is He not there? Who is He? We defined God. We had a pakka definition of God. In day 3, we got to know what is our identity, how we are connected to God. We are also Satchit Ananda, just like how God is. Just that He is infinite and we are finite. Correct? Is that right? Day 4, we found out the identity of that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. Is it one man, one God or many gods? There's only one God. Is that Supreme Person, and He's given in different scriptures according to the ability of each person to digest, so that he doesn't avoid rejection, so that he doesn't reject religion altogether, and also that he can advance step by step. That was day 4. Day 5, we had plenty of things together. We had karma, prakriti and kal. Starting from prakriti, we saw the entire beautiful picture of the spiritual world from where the soul has come from, and the material world where we have come to. And how does this work? Because every society requires a prison house. Those who wanted to enjoy independent of God were put into this material world. Just like the mother gives a small kitchen set to the child to play. But the child is hungry, she has to come back to the mother to eat, to satisfy the hunger of love. So finally, when we understand that this material world is not giving me happiness, we go back to the conclusion of day 1. That when I reach back to the spiritual world, when I am out of this gross and subtle forms, material means earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and false ego. These 8 things. Material means these 8 things and a combination of these 8 things. Right? Spiritual means Sat, Chit, Ananda. Eternal, bliss and knowledge. The whole spiritual world is this. It's Sat, Chit, Ananda. The entire material world is these 8 elements, a mixture of them. Okay? So if anyone is giving you spiritual gyan, it should be Sat, Chit, Ananda. So when someone talks about mind control, what is it?
Knowledge about.
Is it material knowledge or is it spiritual knowledge? Mind. This is a material category. Right? Yes, your mind control will aid you to practice spiritual things. It might become an instrument. The mind is an instrument to meditate on God. Only mind control minus God is material. 6th chapter, I told you, is mind control. Krishna says meditation on His personal form. That's why it is spiritual. Right? So here, after this revision, quickly, Kal factor, we saw that how this influence of time is there in our life. In the life cycle, there is 6 changes in our body, starting from birth right up to death. And the same way, this entire universe is changing. There are Satyug, there's Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, Kal Yug. A whole circle of that becomes one Chatur Yug. And then we had 7 crores, 20 lakh.
But the concept of that Chatur Yug, it just explain
it again. We start with Satyug. The creation begins with Satyug. After that, there's a certain span of Satyug. That 4,20,000 years of, of Kali-Yug multiplied by 4 times becomes the span of Satyug. Where everything is nice, people are naturally God conscious.
They have series of the recording?
Yes. This is my Yuga. Is it mine or Radha Gopinath? Radha Gopinath. It's my senior.
Guru, can I able to recollect
Correct.
a lot faster, when you were talking? That's what I said.
Yeah, where was I?
4 lakh 20,000.
Yeah, 4 lakh 20,000 years multiplied by 4 becomes the span of Satyug. That's a very long time. When time degrades, like the factor of time is that, that slowly things will degrade. Like that's even a material thing, even a tomato will degrade in some time. It's fresh and then it has its own transformation. So then as time goes, there's Treta Yuga, which is a smaller Yuga than Satyug, and then Dwapar, and last is Kali Yuga, where the times are at its worst.
We are living
In Kali Yuga.
So now after Kali Yuga,
Again there will be a Satyug coming. But whoever is there in Kali Yuga has to be finished on. Like there has to be a rejuvenation. Like you're renovating your entire house. Everything that is there is going to be like walls. Everything, whole thing will be scrapped off, and then there will be all the cracks, all the cobwebs or whatever is there will be out.
like how many cycles have been completed so far? We don't know.
There will be 5,000 years.
5,000 years of Kali Yuga is gone. The Kali Yuga, 5,000 years is
So how
gone.
many cycles has not yet got over, even once?
It has gone like multiple times. The total I told you is 7 crores 20 lakhs. That makes like the entire breadth of that Mahavishnu. Now even Brahma has his 100 years of living. Brahma's basically lifespan, if you calculate in human years, I'll make it more simpler for you. Brahma is someone even we can imagine, that he's got a long lifespan. Like compared to a mosquito, I have a longer lifespan. My 100 years is just a day for him. And if you compare my earthly human years to Brahma, he has 311 trillion 40 billion years that he lives. That's his lifespan. That's his 100 years for him. His age right now is 52. So you can imagine how many cycles of earth have been gone. Means you can just begin to imagine. So roughly does that, the accurate thing of which cycle right now we are in is there in the Srimad Bhagwatam, 2nd canto. So the day I refer back to you.
So how long is Kali Yuga?
How long is Kali Yuga? 4 lakh 20,000 years. 4 lakh 32,000 years. And 5,000 years is...
We get 4 lakh hours.
So 4 lakh 27,000 years.
So then why did all that begin? Transition and the world is going to finish and all that. It started
You ask them.
2013.
मैंने तो कभी ऐसा नहीं कहा. That is the difference between the manual and
Spokesman.
yeah. Good. Thank you for the word. I didn't want to say it. So division, who am I? I am not the material body. I am a spirit soul. I am Satchidananda. Where do I come from? I, the spirit soul, who was originally with God, has come from my true home, the spiritual world, full of eternity, bliss and knowledge. Again, even that world is Satchidananda. Like in 15th chapter, there is this beautiful shloka which is even there in the Bible. The shloka is not there in the Bible, but the same words were spoken by Jesus Christ. Natad bhasayate suryo no shashanko na pavakaha. In the spiritual world, there is no requirement of a sun or moon. Shashank is the moon. Pavaka, any fire, any electricity. Why? We have because everything there in the spiritual world is self-luminous. In our solar system, there's only one planet which is self-luminous, the sun. In the spiritual world, each and every planet is self-luminous. So there's no requirement of a... Here there is duality. There's day, there's night, there's flesh, there is death. There's duality. There's no duality in the spiritual world. Everything is eternal. Correct? So where am I now? I'm talking about the material world which Krishna calls Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. Means if you think you're going to find any permanent happiness in this material world, then Hari Bol, a place full of miseries and temporary. Why am I here now? Because I chose to be independent of God. Thus He created the prison of the material world for my purification and punishment. Do you remember these two words?
But the entire this entire world is a prison, you mean to say?
Yes, and Durga guards it. Material world, Prakriti is what we discussed in day 5. Punishment, purification. The judge who judges is not a sadist. He doesn't want to take any revenge from the criminal. He wants him to become a better citizen. And that's why prison houses are made. Ignorance, purification from I pagal. Do you remember this? I stands for ignorance, P stands for pride, A stands for anger, G envy, G greed, E envy, L is lust. And as soon as we come to a prison house, there is 2 C's. The change of clothes. I get a new uniform, a costume to wear. What is the variety I have in the material world? The 84 lakh species, 84 lakh yonia, as they say. That. Chains. What are the handcuffs? The 3 modes of material nature. Sattva gun, Rajagun, Tamogun. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. And why do I get different bodies? How do I choose my costume? According to the karma that I've done. There are 3 types of karma. Good karma, pious activities. I can go even to the heavenly planets and enjoy myself. Till the stock of good karma gets over. Bank balance है, खर्चा किया, खत्म होगा. Vikarma is bad actions. How do I decide what is good, what is bad? What is good for me might be bad for you. Anything which breaks the 4 legs of dharma. Do you remember this? Satyam, Shocham, Tapa and Daya. Satyam is truthfulness. Shocham is cleanliness. Tapa is austerity. Daya is mercy. These 4 things are extremely important for a society to function, even for a family to function. Anything which breaks these 4 legs of the dharma, for example, meat eating breaks a mercy, makes a person very hard-hearted. They don't have daya on someone who is helpless, cannot defend themselves. That is breaking daya. And any activity which aids this, meat eating or any unnecessary slaughter of lower species. And then that is daya. Intoxication is tapa. It breaks the austerity in a person. How? Do you remember? Yeah. We're supposed to control our mind. Imagine if you're drinking, forget about, you can't even control your own body. How will you control your mind? Yeah? Any intoxication, even drugs, alcohol, everything comes under this. Sometimes people get addicted to tobacco. Yeah, that is there. And even, tea and coffee. Because they're so addictive. Yeah, coffee is addictive. Even it's aphrodisiac also. It increases your rajo and tamogun. And then, what else is there? Tapa, Satyam, Socham. Shocham is cleanliness. How is cleanliness affected? By illicit sex affairs. Keeping multiple partners. With that, the cleanliness, internal cleanliness of a person is affected. And then last is Satyam, Socham, Tapa, Daya. Daya we finished, no? Satyam. How is honesty challenged? Gambling. सच बोल के गैम्बल कर सकते हैं? Last time you all said no.
What?
Yeah?
Like
Really?
gambling तो honesty से करते हैं.
अच्छा. और वहाँ जो पैसा आता है वो honesty का कमाया हुआ रहेगा?
हाँ वो gambling का है.
I don't think a hard-earned money someone will go and put in a casino.
Yeah, I agree. All the
Very
different gamble.
Very different.
Of course there is
You're
gambling.
getting carried away with
Addiction, in fact, most of the vices you can check. People लुट जाते हैं in gambling because it's an addiction. Once you start, you can't stop. It catches you. Right? All negativity and everything will come to you. In fact, even also, the truthfulness in the society is affected because of this gambling nature. You become very fickle-minded. It affects your consciousness. So all these things which aid these 4 activities are vikarma. Bad action, and we will get bad reactions for it. Akarma,
expecting
something
anything.
without.
Only to please the God.
Yeah. In fact, when you act for the pleasure of Krishna, now how do I act for pleasure of Krishna? How do I know Krishna is pleased with me or not? So for that we'll be doing how does akarma work. The next one will be in the Bhagavad Gita, in all the 18 chapters, Krishna has given multiple options, in fact precisely 4 options to Arjun. 4 types of yoga have been explained in the entire Bhagavad Gita for Arjun to choose. And then Arjun does a very intelligent thing. He asks Krishna, which one you think is the best? Because you created these yoga systems. Which one you think is the best? So Krishna points out to Bhakti Yoga. So we'll be elaborating on that part on the third part of this session today. Last one is the most important. How do I apply it to my daily life, every day? How do I breathe Bhagavad Gita? Okay. So how long will this get out? Till we get out? How long will this go on? Till we get out of the cycle of birth and death. Millions of lives we have lived. Millions of good and bad things we have done. There's so much in stock. Millions of reactions are there in store for us. What can I do now? As I told you, human life is a train junction. You can choose. We have the choice. We have ability for higher inquiry. We can attain that bliss. We can be determined for it. We have the most precious gift of this human body. We can choose either to be a demigod with our good karma, remain as a human being. In mode of passion mostly you remain as a human being. When you go lower into tamogud, become an animal, or you can even transcend, get out of this material world, get out of the prison. Sometimes you have these mercy cases. The prisoners are just, because of their good behavior, because of things, they're just taken out abruptly. How can I go home back to Godhead? By the third type of karma, that is akarma. What is yoga? Yoga basically means that how do I connect? Yuj. Yuj means to join or connect. The root word for yoga is coming from yuj. Yuj means to join or to connect. To connect what? To connect the soul to God. So what are the 4 kinds of yoga, or the 4 options of how to connect with God? That's how I can get out of this material world. That's my key for happiness. From day 1 we come to day 6. Now I've got the key. There are 4 keys that the Lord has given. Number 1, Karma Yoga. Number 2, Jnana Yoga. Number 3, Dhyan Yoga. Number 4, Bhakti Yoga. In all the 18 chapters, Krishna, chapter 3, chapter 5 is Karma Yoga. Chapter 7 is Jnana Yoga. Chapter 6 is Dhyan Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga is between chapter 6 to chapter 7 to chapter 12. Krishna speaks about Bhakti Yoga. So how does this, do you remember the chariot of our body? There's this chariot, the passenger is the soul, the driver is the intelligence, and the reins are the mind, and the horses are the senses. Correct? Now in this chariot, who is the most important person?
The driver.
The driver. Can the driver take independent decisions? Or does he have to listen to the passenger?
Yeah.
So this is the most important factor. Yeah, the meaning of the chariot is that the chariot has to take the passenger. Correct? Not where the horses want to go, where the driver wants to go, where the reins, ropes want to, to do. So here what happens? Karma Yoga is connecting those horses to the Lord. This is the option that Krishna gives. Saying that when your senses are purified, your mind will be purified, your intelligence will be purified, and the soul will know. Indirect, ulta khana khai. Fine. Jnana Yoga, connecting the mind to the Lord. At this part, by the end of the chapter, Arjun says, Bhagwate, so very difficult. I can control the wind. He says, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, pramati balavad dridam. Tasyaham jaga. Sorry, I forgot. The second 2 lines I forgot. He says, Chanchalam. Krishna, the mind, the mana is very chanchal. I'll control the wind for you. I can't control the mind. Can you control the wind? The mind is unable. Okay, so this is the Jnana Yoga option which Arjun himself has naturally. Dhyan Yoga is connecting intelligence to the Lord by reading the Shastras, a lot of scholarly study. Finally, Krishna gives the option of Bhakti Yoga, where you can directly connect the passenger, the soul, to the Lord. Now these 4 options were given to him. When we think of yoga, what do we think? Just asanas, somehow. Like imagine, he is also in the same asana. That is BK's anger actually. Yeah, both of them getting the same benefits of asanas. This guy is drunk and he's falling off. Yeah. And then, when we think of asanas, we think of meditation. Yoga is not just simply that. Of course, those are, Ashtanga Yoga is a part of Dhyana Yoga. And what happens in that? It's a tool. Like in this story, there is this person who comes and asks in the electronic shop, that I want to buy this washing machine. मुझे ये खरीदना है. So the salesman says that, yeah, it's very good idea, but we don't sell our washing machines to fools. This person was damn irritated. He was disgusted. He said, why is this person calling me a fool? He went home and he thought, kuch to, maybe, he had a French beard and he had long hair, and he thought maybe because of my appearance, so he kind of changed his appearance and he went back and he asked that, मुझे ये washing machine खरीदना है. So he says, we don't sell our washing machine to fools. Even if you change your attire, change everything, you're still a fool. This guy says, wait a minute, why are you calling me a fool? Yes, it's cute. He says, it's not a washing machine, it's a TV. So you get it? We're using yoga, we're doing asanas, we're doing meditation. For what? Whereas yoga means to connect to God. For us, yoga is for a shapely body. Or maybe for an increased lifespan. Or maybe for mystic powers. For some, yoga means, gaining mystic powers. There are people, yogis and babas, sitting for years and years in abject poverty, in abject cold situations for mystic powers. What does Krishna say? What is yoga for? Is it for an increase in exercise and, for shapely body, for increased lifespan, or for mystic power? The meaning of yoga is that you connect to the Lord. That purpose of that washing machine is to wash clothes. You can't watch TV in it. Out of these asanas, we should be able to connect to God. When we get mystic powers, they're simply byproduct of this yoga, of Ashtanga Yoga. The goal is you have to be able to connect the soul to God and finally go back to Godhead. When you're not able to do that, then we simply, what that sales guy called I'm not saying it, he said. So out of these 4 options, and the final goal you should lead is to connect the soul to God. Why is Bhakti Yoga the topmost? Why am I calling it? Just because ISKCON bolta hai Bhakti Yoga is topmost isliye. When you take a Windows software, there's 2000, there's 2001, 2002, so many versions. Who can say that the Microsoft version, which version is the best? Who can say it? Who will be like the best authority at it? Bill Gates. Because he is the author of the software. If you really ask, so these 4 options, or one who has given the yoga process, the author is Krishna. What is Krishna's opinion? Are we even asking? Arjuna asked. So Krishna in chapter 6, verse number 47, he speaks, Yogi Nam api sarvesham. Yogi Nam means all types of yogis. Amongst all of those, mat gati nantaratman atmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. What is mataha? My opinion. My opinion is that out of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself. So Krishna is seated in our heart and renders transcendental loving service to me. That is bhakti. It is very beautiful that the founder Acharya of ISKCON, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, when he translates bhakti, he just doesn't write devotion. His devotion sounds very passive. Doesn't give you exactly what it means. Bhakti means love. It means devotional service. Wherever there is love, there is service. Right? Imagine your husband tells, a wife that, do you love me? The wife says yes. And then she does nothing for him. doesn't cook for him, doesn't do things for him, doesn't take care of the children. So his husband will really think, does she love me? Because she's not doing anything for me. Not that there is some flaws, but when someone does something for you, isn't that a proof of love? So bhakti basically means devotional service, that you're doing something for the object of service. And what is the motivation? मुझे कुछ तो मिलेगा. It's simply love. The mother takes care of the child because जब बच्चा बड़ा होगा तो मेरा ख्याल रखे. Is that the motivation? It's simply love. Cooler?
Am I disturbing the class? You can wait for 10 minutes.
No, I just send one message to him.
Please. You're okay with the 12?
It's quite weird because when I take class there, we're freezing, and here it's so hot. Possible.
No, take your time.
So out of all yogis, one who's practicing bhakti yoga is, this is my opinion, Krishna says, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all other ones. All others who are practicing some asanas or practicing, some dhyan yoga, right? So all these different paths that are there, the karma yoga, the jnana yoga, will they all lead to the same goal? Yeah. Yeah, it is there. But the thing is, some trains might go via. Some trains really go bang on to the spot. So the other yogas, Krishna is not saying they are wrong. They are indirect processes. Like when I start with my senses, I start with the horses. The horses are so wild. By the time they are controlled, and mind is so difficult to control, by the time the intelligence becomes more sharp, it's easy to wake up the passenger directly. So the other processes are purification outside, in. And what is Bhakti Yoga? It's purification inside, out, because you're waking up the very passenger. When the passenger orders, the intelligence, the mind and the horses have to listen. That's why Bhakti Yoga is compared to an elevator. And other yogas are compared to a staircase. They take time. They both go to the same process. And what does it take, Does the staircase take you up?
Yeah. Takes you down also.
Takes you down also. Does it take you up?
Yes, yeah. It depends on how you move on.
Like if you stand on a staircase, does it take you up?
No.
To make the effort, you have to climb. What do you have to do in an elevator?
Just stand.
Just stay in the elevator. It takes you up. It's an easier process. You simply have to be, conscious of what Krishna wants you to do. That is what Bhakti. I'll give you more information about that. What is Bhakti Yoga? It's connection of soul to God, like I described according to the chariot. Now why is this sandwich here? Grilled sandwich. What do I call a sandwich? Now what would you call this sandwich? Veg sandwich. Why?
No, it's a
Why is it veg sandwich?
vegetables.
The stuffing is vegetables. When do I call a sandwich a cheese sandwich? When the stuffing is cheese. What's the important part? The bread is important. The stuffing. The name will be according to the stuffing. So this Bhagavad Gita is like a sandwich. There are 18 chapters. When you divide it into 6 and 6, multiplied by 3, it gives you 18. The first and the last, the first 6 and the last 6 are like that bread. What matters is the beach ka 6. And that's where Krishna enunciates the Bhakti Yoga. He fills in the stuffing, the main important, the essence of his instructions in these middle 6 chapters. Chapter number 7 to chapter number 12. What is the information he gives us? He gives us that Bhakti is the very nature of the soul. If the nature of the soul is Satchit Ananda, he wants to love, wants to serve, wants to be blissful. Like the nature of the salt is to be salty. Can you separate that? So activity of the soul is to love and to serve, which is directly there in So bhakti is that. Is to love and to serve the object of worship. So it's very natural for the soul to practice that. Tapasya, is that natural for the soul?
No.
That's why it's an indirect process. Mind control, is it natural for the soul? It's difficult. Karma yoga is also difficult. Bhakti is very easy. Now for example, now how like if you just compare, how do we actually love? Everything begins from me and mine. Right? That's the circle of love. How does it expand? To my family. बाजू वाले के फैमिली को प्यार करेंगे? Because it's
After mine.
Yeah, after mine, yeah, of course. करेंगे, but after mine. The circle of love begins from me, my family, and then my society. कोई बोले एक बार मैं भी मारवाड़ी हूँ, my God. Immediately you born, isn't it? Yeah, because that society we identify so much, right? And then it grows to India is the best. Why? Because I live here. चाहे कुछ भी हो, right? And then humanity, because I am a human. Animals are humans के बाद. Then this is our nature. I, me, mine. It expands from this. This is expansion of love. Where is God in this picture? Imagine each one of us are working according to this circle. Do you know why there is chaos in this world today? We think from the angle of our body. Because I am born in India, so Pakistan I have. People are born in Pakistan, obviously in Pakistan, Jai Jai, in India hai hai. Jai Jai, what did they say? Whatever. Okay. So then it's all pertaining to the body. That's why there are so many differences in the world. Have you seen a lake? When it's smooth and calm. When you drop a pebble, what happens? There ripples. Right? And if I throw another pebble, again there ripples, and then the ripples clash with each other. My agenda is this, your agenda will be something else. Even in families, what happens? It's me who's first. The other person also thinks it's me who's first. And then there are clashes. When everyone throws on the same spot, what happens? No, they're the same spot. Like if you throw the same spot, you throw the stone the same place where I threw it, there'll be concentric circles.
Yeah.
When everyone identifies that I am the soul and not this body, this whole paradigm shifts. I understand that I have to satisfy God. I have to do what satisfies God, not this body, not this extension of whatever things that I have. Even in a family, when everyone behaves in that way, imagine there'll be so much of harmony, there'll be no clash of interest then. This type of love is what is practiced in the spiritual world. This is the very nature of the soul. The soul is unhappy in the material world because of identification, strong identification with the body and the objects related to the body. We need the remote, it's very hot. AC remote. I messaged you, I think it's not gone. You found the recorder?
Yeah. Yesterday you forgot to tell me.
Thank you. I shouldn't have asked. Yeah. So right now, when we do those concepts, with those clash of interest, are like fish out of water. Because I'm trying to satisfy my family at the same time, my nation, my this. Even in the family, when you try to keep everyone happy, what happens? You're miserable. For the least. And are others happy?
So what is the solution?
What is the solution? First of all, understand your role. Right now, if I talk from the context of the soul, if I take this fish, मतलब पानी क्या है? दूध में डालती हूँ, रबड़ी में डालती हूँ, क्या हो जाएगा? Comfortable. Put in some milkshake, some this. The nature is to be in water.
But my role then at a given given point in time are multi-roles. I'm a mother and a wife and a daughter-in-law and whoever, a friend and whatever. At a given point in time.
Yeah, this when we were talking about identity, do you remember in day 2? We were talking about identity which changes according to time, place and circumstances, is a temporary identity. Unless I don't have a permanent identity, my temporary roles will always be in trouble. First, I have to put the stone in the proper place. The first thing I have to realize, for example, I'll give you an analogy, like a person who plays different roles in a theatre. His morning shift is he's playing some lawyer, in the afternoon he plays someone's wife, she plays someone's wife, and in the evening she plays some corporate person. If she gets confused in the roles, what happens? Everything is a flop. First she has to realize that I am an artist out of that role and I am playing these roles. Then will she be able to do it better?
Yeah.
If she forgets she is an artist, she gets so much in the role that to come out of it and then to play the afternoon shift, it becomes that role that I am an artist, pehle, फिर I am playing these roles is important. Once you realize that I have to satisfy God, what happens? All your roles will be able to play perfectly well. What was Arjun's problem? Same problem. He was confused with his role. He was thinking, I am this person, this person is just like my grandfather. These all are my brothers. I'll kill them. ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? Krishna said, you are a soul. You are not even this body. That's realization number 1. That you need to know. That awareness needs to be there. You got what? How to apply now comes later. That's what is daily life. We'll come to this. But you keep your question in case I forget. So love and to serve is the nature of the soul. Like the fish has to be in water, not rabdi or milkshake. So this bhakti, definition of bhakti is that which re-establishes the soul's love and service for Krishna. What all along we've been doing in the material world. That same thing when it starts in the material world. Then immediately we are connected to Krishna even being in the material world. Like this person here. What happens when he is wearing a uniform? He is killing so many people. He is an army. Does he get hanged for it? Does the government hang him? No, he gives him medals. Imagine if the same guy takes off his uniform, goes to maybe his village during during the off-duty time and all that, and he kills someone, his neighbor, because of some fight. Will people think that he's an army, you're not going to hang him? No, he'll have to. When he serves himself, his own interests, what happens?
It's not accepted.
It's not accepted. But the same thing he is doing, serving in an army, what happens? He is liable to awards. Here he becomes liable to reactions. When a student, he or she, is studying day and night and everything, maybe for some marks, so that I have some career ahead, this ahead, that ahead, I can make more money, I can be better. Maybe sometimes even for pride's sake, that I want to be the best. He is liable to reactions. When that same person, that same student is studying, simply because tomorrow I'll be able to take care of my family. That family who actually is a child of Krishna. 0 reactions. In fact, he gets an award. That same lady, suppose if you talk about a housewife, she goes to the market, buys whatever vegetables, comes home, cooks the best things for the family and everything. Family is happy, not happy, affects her then. And then the same housewife who is a devotee goes ahead, buys those vegetables, makes the best food that is possible, offers it to Krishna first at home, like there's a system of bhoga, and then offers it to the family. Is she liable for reactions? Everyone will love her because she is elevating her family spiritually. She is elevating her because she is cooking that bhoga, that is also a seva. That same activity the other normal housewife is doing, and here the devotee housewife is doing. Here, because she is cutting so many things or whatever she is cooking, according to Vikarma or Karma or whatever, she is not applying bhog, she is not offering it back to Krishna. She is liable to reactions of even cutting those vegetables, because vegetables also have life. And here, what happens? Does this lady get any reactions? Because she's simply doing it as a seva for Krishna. She's taking care of her family because she knows that this is a family of Krishna. Everything that I do in this household, men who work outside, when they come back home, they have a system of worship, and he knows that these children who are actually put under my care, they actually belong to Krishna. When I take care of them, what happens? It's service to Krishna. Do I get any reactions for it? In business, you just can't have everything white. Everyone is not Tukaram. You know what would happen to Tukaram? He would not make any profit. क्योंकि उनको झूठ बोलने होता ही नहीं था. Is everyone Tukaram? But when you make that profit, of course not according to ill means, or whatever good means that you can, and when you offer a part of it to Krishna, then what happens? Then your very activity of earning becomes a devotional service. This is what bhakti is all about. It's just a matter of concentric circles. That I do everything, the same things that I'm doing, and now this time I do it for Krishna. For example, Arjun. What did Arjun do? He was a Kshatriya. His duty was to fight. Imagine someone going for a Kargil war and he says, "Nahi, nahi, nahi, ye bahut ahimsa hai." Are you trained? You're an army person, You're supposed to fight. Correct? That's what Arjun said, that how can I fight? Means you are a Kshatriya, you choose this profession. A Kshatriya blood runs in you. When you see injustice, your blood boils. Because you are a Kshatriya. And then what happens? When you do your duty, as Krishna wants it, you don't get any reaction. Why was Duryodhan fighting? Same action, if you say, Arjun was doing the same thing, Duryodhan was doing the same thing. Duryodhan was getting bad reactions. And Arjun was getting spiritual reactions. Or karma. Because of a change of consciousness. Duryodhan is doing it for his own greed. Why was Arjun doing it? To serve the Lord. So that same circle which begins from my body to my family, my nation, my this, everything can be dovetailed when I do it for God. So did Arjun take sannyas after he heard the Bhagavad Gita? It's very weird, when people think that spiritual life means social life se tata bye bye. No, it doesn't mean that. Krishna wanted Arjun to fight. He said, do it because it's your duty, do it because I want you to do it. And that same action of fighting, apparently killing or massacring, whatever, becomes bhakti yoga. When you connect Krishna to it. Because Krishna is like the root of a tree. Krishna is the root. If I imagine, I'm watering the family, which is like a leaf of them, I'm watering this, I'm watering that, whatever responsibilities or social obligations that I have, forget the root. What happens? The plant will not be properly nourished. When I water the root, what happens? Automatically, the entire tree is nourished. When everyone thinks that we will do what satisfies Krishna, then a society, a nation, everything, a family will function perfectly. Like this person was there, he lived in a big mansion, and he was very irritated because what was happening is that every day outside his mansion he had these beautiful granite walls protecting his mansion, just like a fencing, and everyone would come and stick these obnoxious bills over it and posters and all these things which were absolutely dirty. So he just made an announcement. He said that anyone in this village, if they put up any posters, I'll personally break their bones. Very upset. So there's a couple of boys who are playing, they challenged one, they play these truth or dare games, and they say, chal, dam hai to, go and paint something on his wall. So he said, it's very simple, I'll do it. So when he goes, he takes a brush and he takes a box of paint, and he starts painting. The guy in the mansion used to know, when he comes out and he looks at the paint, he takes the boy in, drags him in. Then these friends think that, oh God, come. And he comes out with a box of sweets and money. And they wonder, ye kya ho gaya? Change of plan. He said, just look for a paint. A painted stick, no bills, which is actually good for the master. Serving oneself and serving the master. He did what he wanted to do, and he did it, which actually benefited even the person who owned the mansion. So after all, it's the same thing. How can we acquire love for Krishna? How does that bhakti do? How do I do it? Michelangelo says that the sculpture is already there. I simply have to remove the extra stone out with my chisel. Now this love, we don't need to acquire. It's not something that we have to do, get a PhD for it. It's already there, dormant. It's covered because of these 6 things that we discussed even last time. Purification is what is required. If a magnet, imagine if the iron filling, so sometimes we used to do this thing in school, we used to take a magnet and try these iron fillings and they would stick to it and then you would write a whole thesis on it or whatever it's called. If the iron is rusted, what happens? Does it stick to the magnet? So this heart, this dormant love will not erupt. This bhakti will not come out naturally till these rustings are there on it. The rust of illusion, the rust of pride, anger, greed, envy and lust. Till that time this bhakti yoga doesn't become natural. जब तक natural नहीं होता तब तक थोड़ा practice करना पड़ता है. Practice to remove these anarthas till we have spontaneous love for Krishna, spontaneous bhakti for Krishna. Quick recap. We revised the entire 5 sessions. Finally we come to a point where we realize that karma and vikarma eventually get us back to this material world. Best thing is akarma. The options. Now akarma and yoga are synonymous words. They're synonym for each other. Akarma means any action which takes you closer to Krishna. Doesn't give you any material reaction, good or bad. And yoga also means the same. Means connecting to Krishna.
Bhakti yoga is actually akarma.
Yes. That's right. So 4 options of yoga Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita. Option of Jnana Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, or for in other words connecting Karma Yoga, connecting the senses to the Lord. Dhyan Yoga is connecting our mind to the Lord. Jnana Yoga is connecting our intelligence. Intelligence can be sharpened with Jnana. That's how we remember intelligence to God. Or Bhakti Yoga is where you connect the soul to God. And Krishna himself says in 6th chapter verse number 47 that Bhakti Yoga is best. And we saw how to practice Bhakti Yoga. Now we will say, what is Bhakti Yoga? It's a very natural tendency or nature of the soul. And that's why it is so simple. And that's why Krishna is asking us to practice. It's not coming naturally right now. It's because of those rustings of I-Pagal, of 6 anarthas that we have. Is that clear? The entire flow? Now the next thing is, how do I do it in my daily life? Number 1 thing is clear, is that सब छोड़ छाड़ के तो नहीं जाना है. Right now Krishna wants us to be here, what we doing with our social responsibilities, with our family responsibilities, even as a person, your body, to take care of it. Not that, छोड़ छाड़ के सब हिमालय में जाके बैठ गए. Right? How do I do it in my family life? Arjun was not a sannyasi. That's most important thing that everyone needs to know. It's pretty crazy, when someone starts going to the temple, what happens? The first reaction of the family members is that ये तो गई. This person is gone. This person is not going to come back. So our question to such people is that, was Arjuna a sannyasi? Arjun was a king. He was a family man. He had 4 wives. He had children. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to him. किसी सन्यासी को नहीं पकड़ के बताया. It was very ideal action of Krishna. So we can do it, being grihasthas. Now where do I get the time for it? बच्चे हैं, घर है, office है, so many other things. Even at home there are so many things to take care. How do I take out the time for practicing Bhakti Yoga? So we don't really want your important time. We don't need your work time. We need your waste time. Your worry time is what we require. The time that you're taking out in worrying about things, the time that you anyway do time pass, that waste time is what we require. Is spirituality a retirement program? No, and a lot of times when people would see me here in the temple, अरे इतने young age में आ गई. I'm 50. It's not that I'm very young or something. Spirituality is a post 60 or something, post retirement program. Is it possible?
That is what people think.
And the first thing I say, I don't even know if I'm going to live up to that. No, start right now. Do we know how long we're going to live? Or we just assume that I'm going to grow old? It's an assumption, a big assumption. Life is a preparation. If I don't prepare now, it's not going to happen. If I have to write an examination, what will happen? I have to prepare from beginning. ये नहीं कि examination के दिन मुझे सब कुछ याद आ जाएगा. Once I reach old age, I'll be able to do things which have been doing throughout the day. Can I take up any new things in old age? Very difficult. Very difficult. Try teaching new things to old people. Or give a new idea also, chalo.
My children keep on thinking that I can't learn gadgets for us. Mom, you should have been some younger.
New things become difficult. This mind becomes, it's used for quite some time. Should spirituality be given importance? Yes, because death is an examination and it's going to come any time. In the examination, if I have to write something, I should have been studying before. If I practice bhakti yoga from a very early age of my life, best is from the womb. Best thing is from the womb. That's what Prahlad Maharaj got. Who's that? What's her name?
She said she got a message about the class.
Send her to room number 7. No problem. देखो ना कोई नहीं चिल्लाता है यहाँ पे. कभी भी वॉकिंग, कभी भी वॉकआउट. I know.
You are so easily approachable. They don't mind telling you are very scared.
She's my friend. I know her like 2-3 times. I met her. Death is an examination. Yeah, so if I write in an exam, I have to be prepared. I have to know the things. So, abhi kya karna hai? Finally, now that I know that bhakti is the best, how do I practice bhakti in my daily life is the question. 5 points is what I need to know. 5 A's. Number 1, accept that I am sick. Why am I sick? I'm not sick. How do you know someone has malaria? Blood test. The symptoms. शाम को ही बुखार आता है. Too much shivering. So then the platelets, if someone is case of dengue, that's how people can find out some symptoms. What are the symptoms that I am sick? If you are going through these 4 problems, if not, then fine. If you are going through these 4 problems of birth, death, old age and disease, अगर आपको ये 3 चीजें सता रही है, that is miseries from body and mind, miseries from other living entities, whoever it is, and miseries from natural disturbances, so then you have to accept that I need help. Right? What is the help? Approach the right hospital. Mental problem है तो पेट के डॉक्टर के पास नहीं जाएंगे. ENT specialist is only for ears, nose and yeah. I was going to say tongue, throat. Approach the right hospital. What is the right hospital? How do I know? Yes, a temple. Temple.
So many times we say that, have you seen the play Kishan versus Kanhaiya?
No, I've heard about it.
I've seen it.
That keeps on saying that God is there everywhere. And if you can even sit at home and imagine that yes, He is there with you, why do you even need to go to the temple? That is one of the
arguments.
Arguments.
Yeah, very good. It's very, God is there everywhere. Can you see Him? There are people who see God everywhere. They don't need to go to temples. There are Goswamis in Vrindavan who stay under each tree every night because they are so advanced. Those who still need to advance can approach a hospital. Of course, there are temples जहाँ पे सिर्फ जाके घंटी बजा के बैठ के आना है. I'm talking about the right hospital. If you see, there's a word right hospital. There are hospitals which are operated by quacks. You have to go to the right hospital. Someone, and will be coming, even in the hospital में क्या करना है, खाली जाके बैठ के नहीं आना, right? When you go to a temple, that temple has to be a medium of where you get association of devotees, where you hear about Krishna. If you come to this temple, yes, you will get it. A temple where you get treatment. Otherwise, there are so many temples. In fact, India is famous for temples. Every nook and corner, there is some small temples. Everything is there. Yeah, some spiritual nourishment has to be there. Food for the soul. Restaurant में नहीं मिलेगा. You will get it in a spiritual hospital. That is the temple. Go to a temple where you find spiritual food. Yes, that's right.
I always have this question, when people are spiritual, are they, is it necessary, suppose a person is spiritual, to be calm in life?
Was Arjun calm in life? Did it suit his occupation? Imagine if he was calm in the battlefield of
Calm
Kush.
in the sense, I don't know, I find sometimes I find people, like today when I was just coming, in the car, there was other person in the car, and my driver took a wrong turn, and that was an old man, he must be like more than 60, started abusing my driver. So then I was wondering, why is there so much, there are so many pathways today, like art of living, these courses, so many courses, but still people have not narrowed down, they still don't know how to talk, how to behave in a decent manner, even if it's over. So does spirituality help in that aspect?
Yes, and it takes time. It takes time. Number one, we have to understand that old age doesn't mean maturity. People can get even smaller than what they were then as kids. And if I talk about old people, I know I'm living with 4 old people at home. The minute your body breaks down, you don't know what to do. Anyone you find, uske upar nikalna. It's a matter of insecurity. It's a matter of depending on someone else. It's a lot of emotional things for oldies. So then that way we have to be a little soft on judging old people or people who've crossed 60, crossed 70. Yeah. So a little sensitive on that part. कि गुस्सा भी आता है तो there's a valid reason for it.
Because of their body.
Yeah, because of their body or whatever. So when old people scream at me, now I don't feel bad. Seriously, because I understand what they're going through. Maybe if I was their age, if I reached that age, that is, I don't know what will be my halat. So let's take that point number 1. Point number 2, does spirituality help? Yeah, getting down anger, calming a person? Yes, tremendously. In fact, that is the only solution. I told you, Bhakti Yoga. Your krodh or anger is one of the anarthas that we have, that we want to get rid of. The more intensely you practice Bhakti Yoga, the faster you get the procedure. That doesn't mean I don't get angry. I get angry. Ask my husband. Proof chahiye to. Yeah, he'll be the best person to tell you.
Of course, everybody
Yeah,
gets angry.
and it takes time.
Everybody gets angry, that is there, but they have
Slightest provocation is what it is.
diameter, it goes up. Somebody really elevated to the highest level, and some
Yeah.
get angry, but
Like if to any formula that you're trying to apply, there's always 3 options. There's one that you're not applying it, means you're yet to apply it or you're not applying it. Point number 2 is progressive. And the person is still trying. The purification is still happening. Like someone is taking a bath. You're telling ये कितना गंदा है. तो रहेगा ना इसलिए तो नहा रहे. The person has actually started taking a bath. Someone who's already entered a spiritual system or trying to apply, that person has already started taking a bath. It's only a matter of time that person is going to be clean. And then in the formula, the third person who's already clean, already applied it and is helping others to get clean. So we just have to wait. Find people who will be in this at least first 2 categories. A lot of times people who reach the progressive stage get very impatient and go back, slide down to the 0 stage. Just thoda patience लगता है. So your thing about, I hope your question is solved. Number 1, old age, so is forgiving. You
I
need to
just
be
had
sensitive.
this because I'm just coming, so I was wondering why, because I find many people like this.
It's quite weird, Srishti. One thing we need to know, a lot of times, at least with me, it happens. When I throw a tantrum or when I'm angry, I want people to know why I'm angry rather than what I'm saying.
Precisely.
Rather than what I'm
want them
saying.
to understand it.
Why I'm angry? Hello, my anger is justified.
Only,
Yeah, but what they say is only my anger.
They
Only
see
my,
only my anger.
that
Right.
things that I've told them or
Because
whatever
you're
has
showing
happened.
only your anger. You're not showing the reason.
At least, I know people are not applying it to me. At least I can start somewhere applying it to others.
Yeah, but the thing is that sometimes it becomes essential to show anger. Sometimes it is not. Most of the time I feel it is not essential.
Yes. You can show maybe firmness
Formless. Yeah.
rather
Or
than
dislike.
anger. Yeah. You can spell it out to that person that, hello, I don't like this. Anger is never necessary. There's something called spiritual anger that Hanuman showed in Lanka.
What is spiritual?
Spiritual anger is in service of the Lord. Anger can be shown in service of the Lord. Hanuman was not doing it for himself. When he burnt the Lanka of Ravan, he was very angry at Ravan. Very angry. Of course, he didn't speak abusive words then. Because that would not please Ram. There is spiritual anger also.
And then they say there is Sam, Ram, Dan, Bhed, something like that. You follow that funda.
Yeah. Like even with kids, do you think beating them up is good? कुछ सीखते हैं क्या उससे? देखो, तुमको कोई मारे तुम सीखोगे उससे? Exactly. I mean, apply it to yourself. At least I always apply it to myself. Someone beats me up, learning something that what that person is saying is the last thing I want to do. Humans level पे. Human नहीं है तो चलेगा. And then that person doesn't understand him. If the person is human, then give it a human treatment. Can we go next? Number 1, accept that I am sick. Yeah? There are 6 topics, So number 1, accept that I am sick. If I am sick, I have to go to the right hospital. What if I don't come to the temple regularly? We can't come to the temple every day, can I? So if I lose my anger, do I have to run to the temple? I can't. It's not practical all the time. So please make your homes into a temple. Right, Simran? Yeah. We do have that option. We can have temples at home. How do we do that? It's a little difficult. When there is a flag on top of some building, it's quite understood that it's a government building, right? So, if you have this above your house, what does it mean?
The television in the building.
The television in the building. So when there is a television in the building, which is the center of your house, it's difficult to make the Lord in the center of your house. TV or related things. FB, Twitter, whatever. It is difficult because what 800 years of Mughal rule has not done to spoil our Indian culture, 20 years of channels have done it. Even, actually systematically, the Muslims and the Britishers, they tried to break down the Indian culture because they knew that these people are not going to listen to us. Their Vedic system is so strong. It's actually a whole lecture of how they systematically did it. Even the Mughals were not so. Britishers were damn sharp. First, they slaughtered cows because then it breaks the backbone of agriculture. Then they can get an industry. Industry means you have to serve me. I'll pay you. Agriculture is independent. I don't depend on the Britishers for nuts. Right? This is how they did it. Slowly, and then they broke down the Gurukul system. They introduced their schools. Because then brainwashing बचपन से ही शुरू हो गया. Introduced the English language.
But what Britishers did for India in 20 years, Indian government has not been able to do.
Really?
The kind of development they all got because of the network and the English language, they exposed India to a lot of things. They have done a lot of good for India, for the development of India.
And the price that we
but
paid
at the
for
price,
it,
because we had to pay the price, they all benefited.
huge
They
price.
didn't do it for us, they did it
They
for
did it for
themselves.
themselves, so that they could rule India more neatly. They destroyed Indian culture. The price that we have to pay for what? Railways नहीं चाहिए, क्यों चाहिए? It's okay, if railway is not there, it's fine. People can live their life.
America में रेलवे
नहीं चल रहा है.
No, because the car lobby is so strong. The roads are fantastic,
Exactly.
but no railways. at
It's
all.
okay if there's no communication, it's fine. कहाँ 100 साल पहले इतना communication, people were living happily. At what cost? Global pollution. And so much noise pollution, so much health, so much divorces, so much teenage abuse, such mental abuse, physical abuse. People are working, people think that, pehle agriculture was so good. You can stay in your house, you have a field in your backyard, you don't even have to travel hours and hours together to get to your workplace. Just go and come back. And every day was a festival in Indian culture. What have they done? They've introduced, first they introduced 9 to 5, abhi to time hi nahi. Is this development?
If we go to see,
It's not development, Chavi.
but then
We
it's
say
all
connectivity, but we need this connectivity because we've created distances. Families are
Connectivity,
not staying together, so we need connectivity. If we were
but
staying
really is there connectivity? People are dying of suicide cases out of loneliness like anything now.
But if all of this wouldn't have come, how would Kali Yuga would have come? This has to happen in Kali Yuga, right? If all this wasn't there, Kali Yuga wouldn't come only. No?
Yeah, that is there. These guys are Kalyug's partners.
Yeah.
We need to identify them,
Yeah.
not glorify them.
Yeah.
And that is my problem. When someone glorifies them, now I get very irritated.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not talking about you, but I feel it's too much of a price to pay.
Yeah. Okay.
So here, what has happened is that we need to get our culture back. Instead of this TV being the center of the house, we have to get back and make the Lord the center of the house now. And then we will not require, that going to the temple that much. Not be necessary when the temple is right in your house. So make the Lord the center of your home. This is the ripple effect that I was talking about. When it falls in the right place, the whole family is concentrated on that, then it becomes an amazing thing. For right now, I think family time is TV time. Dinner time kabhi hai nahi, everyone has their respect. In fact, worse is if you have TVs in your own rooms, when even that time is gone. Right? So you're approaching the right hospital or making your home into a spiritual foundation. In fact, when God is in center of their house, the people who affected the most is the children. When they are brought up with this beautiful culture, then it becomes the most amazing atmosphere to live in. Everyone learns. So accept that I'm sick, approach the right hospital. Till the time your home is not the hospital, please come to the temple, you're most welcome.
So
Approach.
to introduce children to the temple is also very difficult. Though you have the temple, and myself and my husband, we are very worshipping, but you can't make the children sit.
How old are your children?
No, but then at the same time they see, they observe, and that's how they learn.
Believe, but you cannot make them
Anything
worship.
cost is never going to work.
So it will work someday.
Sunday. And the problem with this, the good thing about this generation is that it's a why generation. They'll ask you why. If you're doing something, पूछेंगे उन लोग क्यों. That's why we have all the answers. Do you have all the answers to give your children? When they ask you why you're doing Bhagwate, why you're doing Diya, do we know why? ये करते हमारे मम्मी भी करते थे. This is not a thing that this generation is going to take, and that is good in a way. It's good. They'll grow up.
Because they question you.
Because we don't have the right answers. Isn't it Simran? Imagine if my mother would ask me to chant. मैं पूछती थी क्यों chanting है? आप करें तो मैं करूँ. I'm not going to do it. You tell me why to chant. Isn't it? I need answers. Because of answers I came to this movement. Because I got answers here. Not because, my parents were following me. My parents came after me. When they saw changes in me. When I was able to, when I asked them, they couldn't give me satisfactory answers. Of course, they had answers, which were traditional answers. It was not enough for me. Bhakti Yoga is a science. As I told you, Bhagavad Gita is a science. But how much of that science can be given to children? Because we ourselves don't know it. How much of the Gita have we ourselves read to give it to our children? So approach the right doctor. Your doctor comes in, and when you go to the hospital, just because someone is wearing a uniform and stethoscope, does he become a doctor? It's just because someone is wearing a saffron robe and some tilak or this kantimala that I'm wearing, do I become spiritual? In fact, when Krishna, this person, Arjun, in which chapter is this? Third chapter, around the end of third chapter, he asked him a question that who is the person who is fixed in, Krishna consciousness. Nowhere does Krishna describe, that he is wearing saffron robes, or he should wear a tilak or a kanti mala or tulsi mala, or should be doing this or that. He is only describing their habits, their behavior, and number one, what is most important, even if you have to identify a doctor, is the authenticity of that person. Doctor has to have a degree. Yeah? And degree from anywhere, Timbuktu? No, from the government of India or whichever country that they are practicing. Right? An authorized university. So a doctor, or in other words, a guru, one must approach any guru. Guru must come in a parampara. Now, how do I know what's a parampara? Just for information, in Padma Puran, there's description of 4 paramparas. What's a parampara? University, basically. Supreme Lord Shri Krishna had given the original Vedas or all the information or the manual to 4 personalities, starting from Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Lakshmi, his own wife, and the 4 Kumaras who were children of Brahma. They quadruplets. 4 Kumaras. So from these 4 personalities, there was a chain of disciples which are till today practicing in India. Your guru has to be authorized or a part of any one of these 4 paramparas. Now, how do I know that? Rudra Sampradaya or Shivji Sampradaya is today called as Vallabh Sampradaya. The temple is still functioning in Srinathji, Nathdwara, Rajasthan. They are authentic because they are authorized by that parampara and Padma Puran. Begins from Shivji, who's got his original thing. How do I know if I pick any guru from one of these paramparas? How do I know, what if he's saying something else? Then it will not work in my life. The Shastras, the scriptures, the manuals, whatever information is given there's a result which I need to obtain. When I'm not getting it, that means there's some problem in the connection. When the plug is there and you switch it on, when this doesn't come on, you understand there's some problem in the connection. So then, change the plug. Find someone. It has to apply. The manual must work. It's not blind faith, is what I'm trying to tell you. What your guru gives you must be experienced by you yourself. Your intellectual experience will only give you conviction. Is that right? Yeah. So coming back to Guru. Number 1 is Rudra Sampradaya. Number 2 is Brahma Sampradaya. Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. It comes down from Brahmacharya. ISKCON belongs to this Sampradaya. The founder Acharya, you have this photo here. This is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who belongs to the Brahma Sampradaya. Yeah. Number 3 is a Lakshmi Sampradaya. The temples of Balaji, Tirupati Balaji temple, the Guruvayur temple, and Anant Padmanabh temple, the Ranganath temple in Sri Rangam, all these belong to the Lakshmi Sampradaya devotees. Right? Number 4 is Kumar Sampradaya. These temples are mostly there, I think, in Benares and all these areas. So these 4 sampradayas are still functional today. You can choose your guru from this university. Correct? So if you find a guru, what do you have to ask him? Number 1, which sampradaya, which parampara also, which parampara or which sampradaya, which university are you coming from? That's the first authenticity. And then of course, it has, what he gives you has to be applicable. Now when you go to the doctor mil gaya abhi.
So what about the other guys who give you like the right kind of yarn, which applies, but they are not from the same one of these sampradayas?
Then you're taking a risk. Taking a risk. If they are really that good, and I mean they should come to a parampara. Most of the gurus, they will not tell you who their guru is. Check. जाके पूछो उनको आपके गुरु कौन है, नहीं देंगे information. Why? Then you go to their guru. That fear is there. Yeah. Try. I can give you proof also, but I don't want to take names here. Most of the so-called spiritual foundations
Say na.
will not give you name of their guru.
Give us an example.
Or the guru will have his own establishment, the disciples will make up their own establishments, not affiliating from their own guru because they want to be independent. Parampara means you have to be under your guru or repeat the same thing that your guru is doing, not starting anything new. Right? Try it out for yourself. Avoid negative things. When you go to now you found a doctor. When you go to the doctor and tell him, मेरा पेट खराब है. What is the first question he asks you? क्या खाया था कल रात को? Heavy things that you need to avoid. Every bimari has every disease has some things that you need to avoid. For what? जैसे डॉक्टर को मजा आ रहा है. Some precaution so that the medicine that you take will be effective faster. Right? When I'm trying to light a fire and you keep pouring water on it, what will happen? The fire won't work so soon then. Right? It will take a longer time for me. So these things that we are asking to avoid, the Bhagavad Gita asks you to avoid, are some things which will hamper the effectivity of the medicine that the doctor gives you. So what are the things that we need to avoid? The 4 pillars of dharma comes back. Meet it because it breaks the mercy. When your heart is hard, it's very difficult for bhakti yoga or that dormant love to. You know why Krishna would steal butter? His father had 9 lakh cows in his house. इतना सारा butter है. फिर भी he wants to steal it. It's a message that if your heart is soft as butter, Krishna will take it. If it's hard because of no mercy, it's difficult. It will take time, basically. Time to lagega zyada. So the first thing we need to avoid is meat eating. So basically it's tamogun. We need to rise at least to sattvagun. Number 2, gambling or lower kind of habits, addictions, because truthfulness is lost. Intoxication also needs to be either reduced or best stopped. The austerity is lost. Can you chant or can you take the holy names in the morning or even rise or do the things in Satvik when you still have a hangover from last night? Difficult. That's austerity. Illicit sex, cleanliness is lost. This again is an addiction. Illicit sex. So these 4 things that we need to avoid for the medicine to affect us faster. Is this fine? What is the medicine? Apply positive treatment. We have 4 medicines. A, B, C and D. A stands for association matters. Right? Why do we send our children to college? Colleges or schools? घर में क्यों नहीं पढ़ा सकते? You can call the faculty home and do. It works more in an association, in a group. Right? That's why we have these laughter clubs, we have these yoga clubs, we have these, because when everyone is doing it together, we have Lions Club, we have Rotary Club. One person can do it, but then there is a group, it becomes more effective. Association matters a lot. Good and bad, like these parrots, there were these 2 parrots who were sold. One was sold to a butcher, one was sold to a king. A long time later, when this person who owned these 2 parrots, he went to visit to see how my parrots are doing. The minute he entered the butcher shop, these parrots started speaking abusive words, abusive language. I was so shocked. Parrot to aise nahi tha. And then he visits the king. And he enters the palace and such sweet words. This parrot is speaking, please come, please sit. How nice to see you after so long. Like, dono bhai hai, fir bhi so much of difference because of association. When this person, the parrot owner, could see that how the king speaks, and he comes from a good culture, from a good background, and he's being taught all these values and principles, so the parrot was imitating that. The same thing with the butcher. What type of people were visiting the butcher? So the parrot was picking up the same language. So association matters. If you see a small 10-year-old child in a group of boys, who are smoking and that they take drugs also, will you be happy about it? No. But your child is not smoking or taking drugs.
Likelihood of him starting is very high.
No one is born with a cigarette in your mouth or It comes with association. Right? So association matters a lot. Right? So in association of devotees, when everyone is, like-minded, all of them want to go back to Godhead, then that, the charge up, you charge together. So I remember, my spiritual master, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, every year he takes us for these yatras to spiritual places like Vrindavan or Rameshwaram or all these different. Every year we had this, and all of us together, it's such a charging spot. Throughout the year you'll remember that experience. In the material world, you're so lost. Even you're chanting, people are laughing at you, or they don't want you to do it, or just somehow they say, "Arey chalo na yaar, bas ho gaya na yaar." Yeah, distractions are there. And in this group, it's so amazing. Yeah, everybody is chanting. Everyone is waking up in the morning, early in the morning. You're the only one, making that effort. All the friends are doing it together, and it's fun. So association is very important. Out of ABCD, the B is book reading. It affects our intelligence. It makes our conviction more stronger. When you read Srimad Bhagavatam and take the information of spiritual world, then you become captivated. You realize that how this material world is so temporary. This material world is so temporary, and the spiritual world is so beautiful. And your conviction becomes stronger and stronger every day. In fact, Chanakya Pandit even says, sorry, you saying something?
Is it the same Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yeah. No, they're two different books.
They're two different books.
Srimad Bhagavatam is 18,000 verses. Bhagavad Gita is 700 verses. Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield. It's about Krishna.
About Krishna.
It's about
spoken by Krishna. Like how Bhagavad Gita we say is.
It's personally spoken by Krishna. And Srimad Bhagavatam is stories of Krishna's pastimes, like as Narasimhadev, as Vaman Dev, and the devotees of Krishna. And it was spoken by Sukdev Goswami, the son of Vyasdev, to Parikshit, who is the grandson of Arjuna.
Oh wow.
Parikshit. It's a beautiful.
So Bhagavad Gita is only a part of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Bhagavad Gita is separate. It's a part of Mahabharata.
That's okay.
Srimad Bhagavatam happened later. It was post Mahabharata. It was spoken later. Of course, it's an eternal knowledge. Spoken later. So this is fine. Reading. In fact, Chanakya Pandit says that if you're a human being, then every day at least you should read one chapter of Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. If not one chapter, if not one chapter, then one page. एक पेज भी नहीं हुआ तो एक श्लोक भी नहीं हुआ तो one line of a श्लोक also is.
But Shlok, I wanted to ask maybe the end of this Trayambakam Yajami. I want to know the exact ending of the Shlok.
Trayambakam
Yajami Subandhanam Urvarukmeva Bandhanam Mityur Mokshi. It is Mamritar, Amamritar, or Yamamritar?
I'll find out. I have to. It's not a part of Bhagavad Gita.
It's not part of
Must be
Bhagavad
Srimad
Gita.
Bhagavatam.
No, it's a
But actually, in 2-3 books, somewhere it is Mamrita, somewhere it is Amamrita, and somewhere it is Yamamrita. So I wanted to know what exactly it is because it's a
Mrityunjay Jap is spoken by Lord Shiva. If I'm
it's
right.
a
It must be a part of Padma Purana. Lord Shiva speaks instructions in Padma Purana and 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is not there.
You get cassettes also.
Yeah.
That's what she's saying. That is different whenever she's.
I think the cassettes also is different.
No, like in some books it is Yamamrita, somewhere it is Amamrita, somewhere it is Mamrita.
The only proof is that because it's not coming from a parampara. That's why you get different versions of it. Anyway, book reading, is that fine? I'll try to find out. Chanting? Sorry. ABCD. How is chanting important? Why only this mantra? Why not any other mantra? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Why this mantra? Like every yuga, like we had, I told you, Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. Each yuga has its own dharma which has been given by the Lord. In Satyug, the age of people was much more longer, with patience, with a lot of qualities still being there in human beings. So the process given to them was a little tougher. It was meditation. How long? Thousands of years. Vishwamitra Muni had meditated for 10,000 years till Menka disturbed him. Then again 10,000 years till another Rambha disturbed him. And then again, then he chose Bhakti Yoga in fact. That was a part of time when he chose Bhakti Yoga. So the first Satyayug was meditation, the process of dharma, or the process to go back to Godhead was meditation. When the time came of Treta Yuga, even the Lord is very practical. When he understands कि अरे ये तो हम लोग को होगा ही नहीं है. Sometimes when people can't pass, then you will have to introduce some different, more simpler pattern. So the Lord introduced yajna, fire sacrifices, which was simpler than meditation, and it was much more elaborate. People could do yajnas, and offerings were given. Like a part of their income was, had to be a part of the yajna, so their income was purified, and that was the medium of engrossing yourself or practicing bhakti, practicing any process to go back to the spiritual world by the process of yajnas. As Dwapar came, again these yajnas were becoming difficult. Expensive to hey, घर ही जल जाएगा अभी तो. To do the yajna at home, the homes are so small. And then, as Dwapar Yuga came, Krishna introduced deity worship. Everyone needed to have deities, murtis, the archa vigrahas at home to worship. With this personal association of the Lord, it was purifying their six anarthas, and they could go back to the spiritual world. What in Kali Yuga? In Srimad Bhagavatam it is saying, Kale dosha nidhe rajan asti eko mahan guna. Kale, this Kali Yuga, this Kal, the time of Kali Yuga is Kale. Dosha is faults. Nidhe is an ocean. Sukdev Goswami tells Parikshit Maharaj that this time of Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults. Asti eko mahan guna. There is only one mahan guna. Kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param vijay. He says that you can reach that topmost destination, that param vraj, that topmost destination, if you will be able to do kirtan of Krishna's holy names. Another form of kirtan is japa, that you chant your personal sadhana, that is called, your personal practice of chanting. Now why only Hare Krishna Mahamantra? This is Sri Krishna Sharanamam also, isn't it? In Vallabh Sampradaya. Why only this Mahamantra? Are we demeaning the other Krishna mantras? No. In Kali Sandaran Upanishad, which is specifically meant for Kali Yuga. Now what I am trying to say is this Yuga Dharmas could not be interchanged. Because Krishna himself has, the manual has been given by the manufacturer. So the manual for Kali Yuga, which is Kali Sandaran Upanishad, there is a conversation between Lord Brahma and his son Narad Muni. His 10th son is Narad Muni. So Narad Muni speaks to Lord Brahma and he says that, that Kali Yuga is such a difficult time. Sinful things are more easily available than pious things. Actually, every corner of this city has abortion centers. It's so rampant. Right? It's more easily available than pious things. How will people be Krishna conscious? How will they be able to achieve the topmost destination? And how will I be, saved from this time of Kali Yuga? This impurity is so easily available, so easily, people can take it on. How do I save myself? So at that point of time, Brahma spoke to him this particular verse. Iti shodashaka nam kali karmasha nashna. Nataha parataro upay sarva vedeshu drishyate. I'll tell you what each word is. Iti, this, shoda. Shoda means 16. Shoda shakam. 16 syllable, nam, names. Kali kalmasha nashna. It can easily break the negativity or the sinful nature of which Kali brings along. Nataha parataro upay. There is no other upay. Sarva vedeshu drishyate. For Kali Yuga, there is no other upay even if you search the entire Vedic system. After searching through all the Vedic literature, one cannot find a method of religion more sublime for this age, for this Kali age, than the chanting of Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna तो इधर लिखा नहीं है. Shodashaka means 16 syllables. 16 syllables mantra. And the next line that he speaks is this mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Iti. This mantra, this Shodashaka, it's got 16 syllables, is what he gives to Narad Muni to get saved from the influence of Kalyug, to get purified from the 6 anarthas and go back to the spiritual world. Now how do I chant?
But then Ram and Krishna, they're like two different gods, right? I mean, they're the...
Ram means, when you are talking about Ramchandra Bhagavan. Ramchandra. This Ram basically means reservoir of pleasure. It's another name for Krishna. Ram means someone, iti, what is that? Iti Ram. Rameti Ram. That particular shloka is there, na? Yeah.
Ram Rame Rameti Rame Rame Manorame.
You know, someone who gives you so much pleasure. A reservoir, you don't understand what's a reservoir? It's like a lake. It's like abundant water. Abundant pleasure who can give you is Ram. It's another name for also for Krishna. Raman or Ram. It's another name for Krishna. Sometimes even Balram is lovingly called as Ram. So it's another name for Krishna. So this shloka basically means that, you know, please engage me in your service, Krishna. So these holy names can purify. This time now.
Yeah, unnecessary.
Yeah. It actually purifies. Now when we chant, we don't have to chant that the whole world can hear. Hare Krishna. Now that is kirtan, when you do an association of devotees. When you are at home, you may practice. At home, we'll do it once, a little demo in the end also, after I finish the little part of the class. How do you do it? You chant as much as you can hear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hear each and every word of that 16 syllables. Sometimes devotees who are practicing, even in ISKCON, sometimes they kha lete wo Hare Krishna, Ram Ram. Yeah. This happens, this happens. But with practice, of course, if you start like that, then it will become a habit. Then to become better will.
Isn't chanting the mind enough? If you are chanting the mind,
it's actually a science. When you chant a little louder, this spiritual vibration that your tongue is producing enters your ears, and from the medium of your ears it enters your heart. And what heart is what needs to be purified. It contains the illusion, pride, anger. For it to be more effective, you have to be able to hear it.
And science also says that mind can do only one thing at a time. Because speaking it, unlikely you think of anything else.
Yeah, otherwise.
And this mind, it is nonsense, I'm telling you. The more you try to control, imagine, when I do this, immediately this sound has more power. Imagine spiritual sound. How much power that gets. It has the weightage to even attract the mind. If you stand simply in your mind, it's good. In case sometimes social obligations, you have to do it in your mind. Ideally, you should be able to hear it. Ideally. That's ideal chanting. That is japa. Japa means you do it enough for you to hear. In fact, Haridas Thakur, he would chant 192 rounds every day.
Oh, wow.
You know what is 192? One round has these 108 beats. Uska 192. So out of that, about I think 64 rounds he would do, 32 he would do it in his mind. But he was able to do it because he was doing the others, loudly. And
so this Hare Krishna comes first and then comes Hare Ram.
Hare Ram. Is that okay?
Yeah.
This is at least how Brahma spoke to Narada.
No, actually, you know what? Recently, I just switched my mantras, and I came to this one. So I was doing the other way around. I was doing Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
But when you say it in a cyclic pattern, it doesn't
it
anyway it becomes,
Yeah.
It's like how Valmiki, how he became Valmiki. He was actually a hunter. He couldn't even take the name of Ram. It's a long story. So then Narad Muni told him to Mara bolo. So Mara bolte Ram ho gaya. And he was purified. He became Valmiki Rishi. He wrote the entire Ramayana. So what is the last treatment? The last medication? It's diet. You are what you eat. You are what you eat. We need to eat prasad. Food which is offered to Krishna. Krishna says in chapter 3 verse number 13, Yagya Shishtashinah Santo Muchante Sarva Kilbishe. Food which is first offered for sacrifice, or first offered for bhoga to Krishna. Muchyante, it has the power to break all our sins, past and present. We break our sinful tendency also. So future का भी रुक जाएगा. Correct? So this is the potency of prasad. Prasad is food should be eaten after offering to Lord Krishna with love and devotion. So Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yume bhaktya pravichyati. You can offer me whatever you want, leaf, flower, fruit, things which don't break the vikarma mein nahi hai. It is sattvic food. Yes.
But what, okay, you offer, but then, in these days, like, in practicality, so you're going to come to daily life, right? After this,
This daily life is this. Daily life you have to do every day.
Okay, so what I mean is, like, in today's world, like, there are small families and, you don't have enough support. So what about the times when you're, like, not home and...
you have to eat out.
Huh?
You have to eat out.
Yeah, you eating out and the deity is at home. So how do you offer food? And then sometimes you chanting, so then...
Yeah, when I have my mother-in-law at home, we're living together, so we usually switch. In my mother's house, she asked my father to offer only the 5 days that. So we have a personal arrangement at home. If you don't have support system at home, is when there's a problem. At that time, you can either do it in the kitchen itself, whatever. At least you can start with some water. Krishna is very simple. What does he want from us? He says, Patram, Pushpam, Phalam and Toyam, just one flower, just one fruit, one water. At least start with that.
And what when you're traveling?
Then mentally you can offer.
So it's fine if you don't offer physically.
Yeah, that's offer. What I'm trying to say is at least start eating some kind of prasad daily in your life. Some prasad. If it's just a tulsi leaf per day, start is what I'm trying to say.
No, you know what? Basically, I would be very incomplete because my mom's house, it's like full on food. Like if my mom's eating something, if something's being made, it has to be offered to God first.
Yes, same here in my house also.
So all the times, like morning, the
Same
snack, afternoon,
anything that comes in my house is offered.
Exactly. So then everybody eats. So then right now I'm just basically I just moved to a new house 2-3 days ago.
Yes.
So I want to keep a murti, but a Laddu Gopal, but I don't want to keep a Laddu Gopal.
Then you have to do a lot of.
Yeah.
You have to be.
And then I don't have a support system.
You can keep a photograph.
Yeah, I don't have a photograph.
Start. Start is what I'm trying to say. Whatever you have, you need to start. We'll come to that progressive thing. Right now we're not doing anything. We're coming to progressive. It'll take us time for us to, that formula I was trying to tell you, not doing anything and then doing something progressive and then coming to the ideal standards.
Whatever is needed first should be offered to God.
Yes. Provided it is sattvic food and what Krishna wants to eat.
But then, vegetarian. But I know that.
No onion, no garlic.
I know people
Without onion, garlic.
So the day I
Sattvic
cook
food.
any vegetables with onion garlic, I don't.
You're getting late? Sure. Not at all. Can you take one packet from there? I'm sorry, I'm being lazy now, coming and giving it to you first.
But I know people.
That's for you. Happy goal. I'll see you again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I know people like they offer anything to God, like anything.
Does God want to eat? That is the question.
But also my question is it written in the Bhagwate Gita that God only wants without like he wants non-tamasic
onion
food?
and garlic increases your tamogun. So
Exactly,
that is virgin.
Yeah, so it's written in the Bhagwate
No,
Gita.
even if you see like some people who have Ganpati at home, onion garlic is not offered. Masoor ki dal is not offered to the Lord.
Masoor ki dal is not offered.
The orange dal, the orange color.
Sagar masoor?
Sagar masoor, I don't know. The orange specifically, it has too much high protein. It's aphrodisiac by nature. So even that is in Vaishnava Sampradayas, that is not offered to Krishna.
So what about Bengan? Even they said even Bengan is begun. It's not tamas.
It's not tamasic. It's offered to Krishna. And also, eating everything in a what do you say? In a moderation quantity.
So that's why everyone will have then their own sex, will have their own entire this thing. Like my dadi was very much for it. She would offer any gajar or any kalinga, nothing red also to God, because it will remind you of blood and hinsa.
Actually, right now we're
Yeah.
sticking to
Yeah,
scriptures.
yeah.
We're
No,
sticking
exactly.
to
So
manuals.
each one will
So in
follow.
manuals, it's very clear. And in fact, onion and garlic did not exist in Satya and Treta Yuga. It came much later. It's a body of a demon. Onion and garlic. I'll tell you the story maybe when we come to advanced Gita courses. Right now, I don't want to deviate. This is late. We must finish.
That's what we haven't finished.
We finished, but just little bit demo I'll show you so you can follow it at home. Actually, onion and garlic is body of a demon. Precisely, it's a body of
But
Atapi
today,
demon.
medical saying it's a must for your.
For medication, yes. Everyday food में है.
But medication में तो people
So,
who
yeah.
are so staunch will say कभी medication के लिए भी नहीं खाओ.
हाँ, but it's a choice. We can't force anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So if someone wants to eat, they'll eat it anyway, making a bahana also. I'm talking about people who really want to advance in their spiritual life or want to behave as humans. So it's okay. Association, book reading, chanting, diet. Diet, as much as possible, please start having at least some prasad in your life. Offer water. Krishna says toyam. Toyam is water. Offer some water to Krishna. Distribute it among the family members. It makes a huge change in life.
But I would feel that, my Krishna is not happy. Like, if I'm not
Will he be
doing-
happy if you're not consistently doing it?
Yeah.
Or will he be happy that you're doing something for him? You get the point? Begin is what I'm trying to say. Krishna will give you the facility to improve. I'm telling you, when I came to this place, my parents were dead against me coming here. उनको लगा मैं सन्यासी बन जाऊंगी. So they didn't let me go. They thought I won't get married. I was around 16, 17 at that time. So of course, it's understood.
Come here.
Huh?
What prompted you to come here?
I heard the philosophy and the kirtan and all. Yeah, started. My cousin was coming. So that's how I started
And
coming.
that's what it's the association.
Yeah, it's association. And usually we do things together. So when she came in, that's how I came in first, and then of course I appreciated the philosophy. Made sense to me. Practical application: four types of four options Krishna is giving in Bhagavad Gita. The author himself says Bhakti Yoga is the topmost, is the best. We can practice Bhakti at home by accepting we are sick, approaching the right hospital, coming to the right temple, taking the right, selecting the right doctor, the right guru is very important to guide us, because right now we are still using our material mind and material intelligence. We need someone with a spiritual mind and spiritual intelligence who has practiced for a long time. When we accept such a guru, he asks us to avoid certain things, the four things that are there, and then take the treatment of A, B, C, D. Good association, devotee association, and then book reading, chanting, and diet. Right now, which is the most the most available thing is chanting.
So that's
That you
also,
can immediately begin.
is that also a Bhakti Yoga?